Welcome back, guitar freaks, and the next episode that we've got for you is how to fatten up your guitars in a live gig. Therefore, we prepared some stuff for you in the studio, and as we talked about in the first episode about miking and reamping, we used the reamping technique for this. We recorded the guitars earlier and then sent them back to the cabinets. The rigs that we used, the first one is probably mine, and we did the rundown the last episode that you can see on our YouTube channel as well. For the second one, we used this PV 6550 with a small booster up front. The cabinet that we used is a 2x12. Why are you using a 2x12? Yeah, it's really cool having all that walls of Marshall amps in your back and every cabinet's running. But the sound guy sitting up front there, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't like that, especially when you go into smaller venues. So it's easier to have a 2x12. It's easy to carry. You can hide them somewhere in the side or whatever. And the one we've used is made by one of the bigger stores that you got in Germany. Basically, most important is the cabinet itself. The wood should be really, really properly made. And then you also can change the speakers. The speakers that we used inside this one is Celestion Vintage 30, Electro Voice 12L, and it's always good to have opportunities for different sounds, and you can also mic them different. And this is what this episode is gonna be about: how to mic this stuff for live and how to deal around with that. We checked it out with different mics at the same position for first try, and later on we're gonna go for what you do with more than one mic in live business. As you could see on some pictures, we for the studio works we used usual stands, but for live it's quite cool to use stuff like this Audix cap grabber, which goes around your cabinet and the mic stays where it is. There's several other products you can use for that, but we found these ones are quite stable, and yeah, just check it out if it's cool for you. And then we go further and let's have a look what we did with the mics and the cabinets. So first of all, why am I doing this in Logic and not on a live desk? Because it's easier for me doing it with screenshot, and also basically the physics behind doesn't change. If you're using a live desk, you got a preamp, which we just inserted like here for alibi, and EQ, and there's nothing more that we're going to use today except the pan and the volume. The only thing that I did is sending all the mics that we recorded to a bus which carries an analyzer, so it's easier for you guys to follow what's happening with the audio. So, and the first mic that we recorded, well, all the mics are recorded the same position on the speaker, was on the Vintage 30 Celestion. And I hope you got a good quality headphones or monitors so that you can figure out the differences in between the mics. Pretty similar to a SM57, which is the usual standard mic, is the Audix D3. The next classic that we've got is a Sennheiser 409. We used the old one with the gold capsule. It sounds a little different than the newer models, but they come quite close to this one. Another Sennheiser which is quite popular for guitars is the 421. Let's hear that one. Our favorite guitar mic is a Heilsound PR30. If you open the mic itself, you can see it's got a really large diaphragm, so it carries also a lot more bass in it. And even the transients are not that sharp, which you usually have got on other mics. So comparing that one with a large condenser mic, which we used, is a discontinued model of SPL Electronics, German company, but it's based on the Audio-Technica 4030 or 33. I'm not sure exactly which models this one better. Let's see what this does. Good so far. We can go on with hundreds of other mics, but this is stuff that we usually use and we're familiar with. Another issue now is the speaker. So coming back to the Heil PR30, back on the Celestion V30. If you put this mic then on the Electro Voice 12L, so now you're getting an idea where we're heading for. And if we go in, just mute these ones here for me to make it easier. If you're now playing around with these two mics, same thing. And we got the PR30 now on the Electro Voice and the large condenser we left on the Celestion. So if you get dynamic on the Electro Voice, and on the Celestion, the condenser mic. If you just just let me switch here. I'm just going back to that, and you won't even go usually for having both mics down in the center. Usually won't do that because it will cause phase issues for sure. Let's see what we just having it straight. If you're playing with one guitar and just to make it really hard, left and right pan, then you go in the direction we were heading to. So you see, while changing the pan of the mics, the picture of the guitar gets even wider. That's pretty normal. But what would you do if you got two guitar rigs, both mic'd the same way? We thought we're gonna put this one in one episode, but that never works. So we just split that one, so stay tuned for the second part of Guitars, Fat and Live.